Hi, welcome to another brush and Boltgun video. Today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to paint Black Legion. Now I've started with the model already base coated black, so the first colour that we're going to add is Vallejo Model Air Rust, and that'll go on all the areas that you want to look like a kind of brass colour. Now this could take a little bit of time, so I'm going to skip to the end and I'll come back once all the brass is finished. Okay, so that's all the Model Air Rust. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a few edge highlights, because looking at the screen it does look quite hard to see a lot of the detail on there. So I'm going to do a few edge highlights just to pick out the detail, and I'll go on with the rest of the colours. Now to do the edge highlights I'm just using a mix of Vallejo Deep Sea Green and Citadel Abaddon Black. I'm going to skip to the end here, and when it comes back on, all the edge highlights will be sorted. Right, so now you can probably just about see that there is some quite dark edge highlights on there. Now we're going to be going on to Vallejo Model Air Steel, and that is just to pick out all the rib bits behind the legs, the tubing, parts of the backpack, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to skip to the end again, and when we come back all the metallics should be done. Okay, so that's all the metallics done. All we're going to be moving on to now is any bits of bone, so like the horns and that kind of thing. There's a little bit extra on here, but it's mainly going to be, for most models, just the horns and the helms, maybe the spikes and stuff like that that's grown out of them. For this we're using Rakarth flesh, the Citadel colour. Carry on doing those and then come back in a sec when they're all completed. Okay, next we're going to be doing the washes. On the silver parts we're going to be using Nuln Oil, which is a Citadel shade. On the bronze parts we're going to be using Agrax Earthshade, and on the bone we're going to be using Seraphim Sepia. Right, we're going to skip to the end and do the other colours. Right, now that they're dry, we're going to be starting to do some highlights onto the metallics. So we're going to start with using Citadel Retributior Armour, and we're going to be using this on the with the gold used to highlight the rust there, see it's just lighten the colour slightly. Next step we're going to do is we're going to paint the rest of the bone and the horns and stuff, using slightly watered down Rakarth flesh. So let's just blend it into the sepia a little bit. Okay, the next thing we're going to be doing is working on the Ushabti bone, which we're just going to be using as one of the top highlights on the bone sections of the model. Right, I'll carry on with the bone and then hopefully have that finished in a moment. So for the slimy stuff we're going to be using Citadel Elysian Green, and we're just going to use that as the base layer on the slime. Okay, now that that's done, I'm just going to do a little bit of a shade on the green with Citadel Biel Tan Green. There we go. Another thing you can do with the green shade is just add a few little spots around it. I could do sometimes on bases just to show, so there's been a bit of damp on it, it's a bit mouldy. With this having a little fungal on it already, you can get away with that quite nicely. Like so. While we wait for that to dry, we'll start on his eyes. I'm using Mephiston Red for his eyes. You can see that rather than going straight in to jab the eye with the colour, I'm doing lengthways strokes of the brush, which I find the easiest way to get the eyes done. Okay, now we're going to add a little tiny bit of white to the red, lighten that up a bit. I'm going to do the first highlight. I'm going to do one more highlight on that, because the lenses don't seem to be very big on this Chaos Marine's helmet. And the final highlight, I'm just going to do one little point of reflection on his eye like so. Another one on the other eye as well. Too much white on the brush there. I think that one looks a bit too bright there, the highlight on that eye. So what I can do is use a little tiny spot of Druchii violet just to darken that down to save redoing the whole eye. There you go. I'm going to go over the edges of this just to pick out the raised areas. And there you have it. One Black Legionnaire. All we're going to be doing here is the back end of the round casings. I'm just going to be using Vallejo brass, which is a pretty good colour because it looks exactly right if you're doing standard bullets. I know both casings are meant to be the same, but it looks decent on the models. Paint does dry pretty quick. I'm just going to use a bit of Agrax Earthshade and spread that over these bits. There we have it. That's the rounds ready to go. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and think about subscribing to the channel. It does help us out a lot. Also think about subscribing to one of our other forms of social media linked below. Thanks a lot.